It was a great day, obviously. You know, the score, you can't ask for much more than that. I thought that we did a lot of very good things. Being on the headset, though, you do hear a lot of things going on with the coaches as far as seeing things that aren't quite exactly the way they should be. There's some, there was some yelling from the sideline to get guys lined up properly and do what they're supposed to do. And so, we can't sit here and say it was just flawless by any means, but to play the way we did and get a shutout and have some of the things happen on special teams that were very positive. I was happy with the performance of the team overall. I thought our kick coverage team did excellent. I thought our punt return and block team did a beautiful job, a couple nice returns there. We secured the ball again, no turnovers as a team, which was nice. Punting was a little shaky today, and maybe he thought he wasn't going to punt today. I don't know, but he didn't. He wasn't quite as sharp as you'd like. It was nice to see Marshall Morgan get back on track, making that field goal. I thought he kicked the ball well in the kickoffs, and obviously ran the ball well, threw it efficiently. It's just a good day.
How about that South Florida connection, you guys?
Right.
On offense, right?
Yeah, we had the little Wildcat with Sony as the quarterback and Isaiah as the speed guy, and so one of those two guys is going to get the ball almost every time. There's some other variances you can put in that thing, but for the most part, you're either giving the speed sweep or you're running some type of inside running game with that formation, and to know one of those two guys is going to get the ball is a smart thing to do. They're both very talented kids.
Coach, what did you see out of your defense today?
Well, the first drive, I saw that we still are allowing the ball to be thrown into some coverages that it shouldn't be able to get thrown into, and so I wasn't, just totally excited about what was happening on drive one. But after that, they tightened down the screws pretty good. I think we got more pressure up front. I thought both lines of scrimmage played excellent. That was probably the biggest key of the game, that the D-line did not allow them to get anything running the ball. The front seven didn't allow anything rushing the ball, and the offensive line, I thought, did a great job of providing a lot of space for those backs. And that's what we talked about. If we can get our backs running downhill, we knew it was going to be a long day for them, and if we could get their backs to bounce and have to run sideways, it would be a good day for us, and that was one of our big goals going in.
Mark, how do you gauge the significance of a win like this, and did you have any concerns of any sort of hangover after last week?
Well, I mean, you could go in a game like this and just be so upset when it's over, even if you win it sometimes. And even after the score got the way it was at the half, sometimes the second half, when you allow some other guys in the game, it turns into a mess, But everybody did a good job when they got their opportunity. That was nice to see. It's a non-conference game. There's no significance in league play, and it was good to get some guys in the game, maybe give a few more guys an opportunity to gain a little confidence and all. But it's always great to win, obviously, but we're most concerned about trying to win the East right now, so it didn't help us there.
Mark, to not have, Todd got like 6 carries, was that just because you didn't, the way it worked out?
Yeah.
Or was there
Well, the game was getting out of hand, and there's no point in continuing to give him the ball, I didn't think. And he did a good job while he's in there, and I'm glad. But we've got some other backs that are very capable, and I just didn't see any point in keeping him in there.
The defense, even though some of them got called back, I guess, the defense was pretty aggressive getting the ball out.
Yeah, that was a huge. It was been pretty big all year long as far as just emphasizing trying to rip that ball out. But I know Coach Pruitt had a goal for every practice of ripping it out of the hands of a scout teamer, or when we go best on best. And if they didn't get it, there's going to be some running after practice. So the fundamental and the I don't know, it was hot on their minds to get that ball out. So guys, I think, did a nice job.
What was Swan's issue today, and also what would you make of the
Yeah.
targeting call on?
Well, so, Swan had, he landed funny on a pass that was, it might have been past skeleton or something, you know. And when he came down, he ended up hitting his head pretty good. So it was considered a contact headache and not a concussion. But you know, we didn't want to take any chances. So it was not considered a concussion, but it was a headache that lingered a little longer than normal, and so we didn't play him. And then the targeting, I think there's a good case to call it there, and I think that I do think he had part of his shoulder there and all that, but the helmets did hit, and I think that the biggest issue, in my opinion, was that we didn't try to wrap up. I think if you make that same hit and you're wrapping up, then it doesn't look like you're launching, and it looked enough like a launch, and they didn't want to overrule it. So I don't have a big beef with that one.
Your younger guys today, I mean Bryce, I guess is a younger guy.
Yeah, he is freshman.
Sony, Bryce, I mean your younger guys seem to either explode at some point today or just have a good day in general.
Yeah, Blazevich did a good job, and Trammell Terry's a relatively young guy. He had a nice pick, and a lot of guys got to play. A lot of DBs got to play. Bellamy got a chance to get in there, and number 7 Carter Lorenzo's been playing a little bit already, but a lot of young guys getting a chance to play, which was good.
And they played well, it seemed.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was alluding to, that a lot of times you make a lot of substitutions and the game just kind of gets crummy. You get a bunch of mistakes, you don't move the ball, the defense gets a couple cheap ones on your second, third unit or whatever it is, but I thought the guys played pretty good.
Mark, was there any early word on what Keith has?
The early word on it is that it's not real serious, but you always have to get the MRIs to verify things. But we're not sitting here holding our breath so much. We don't think, we think it's pretty solid structurally. And Mager, we think, will be fine with short-term thing.
Because I know Reggie was in front of Isaiah on punt returns the first couple weeks. What led to the decision to start Isaiah today?
Well, what we did is we had both of them back. If you've noticed, we had a lot of the times they would rugby kick, and so they'll roll to the right and then they'll kick kind of a flat, hot ball. And we were judging that the ball was landing somewhere around 25 to 30 yards, somewhere in there. So we were trying to get 81 there, Reggie, to be able to catch one of those if he could, make it a 25-yard kick. And then if it was too hot or too hard to handle, then it could go back to Isaiah. And we thought 81, Reggie Davis would be better handling that hot ball right there. So Reggie ended up back. And then what happened was after the one return, they try to kick it across the field. They'd rugby right, but then kick it across the field. That's when we started going twin safeties. And when we went twin safeties, the goal was to, whoever got it, have the other guy block for him. And it just happened to go to Reggie Davis, and Isaiah did a good job of coming in there and giving him a block to get him started. And then he had a 51 or 52 yarder. Both of them had, 51 or 52 yarder somewhere in there, which was good.
So is it going to be Reggie for a team that punts just normally?
I don't know what to look at and see.
Is it, who's number 2 has been a big question we've asked a lot. It appeared that maybe that's Bryce Ramsey's first.
It was this week. I don't know if you can put too much on that, but
your views of those 2 quarterbacks?
yeah, I thought. I know Bryce made some really pretty throws, but he made some that weren't that pretty, and he made a couple decisions that weren't quite right. I'm not sure the touchdown pass was thrown to the right guy, but we did get a touchdown out of it. And I was just talking to him a minute ago. He's like you would think. He's a guy that freshman getting a chance to play for the first time in his career, and he was nervous, but he had fun. He had a chance to go play again. He hadn't played in a while, so. And then Fatone, I thought, ran the offense well and ran the ball well. Fatone was basically running the Wildcat formation because he's a capable runner. And when you run Wildcat stuff with him. He obviously can throw the ball well. He might have thrown one. I know he threw one at least and completed it, but not sure how many times he threw it.
Hudson probably wanted to go out and throw for a lot of yards and touchdowns,
Right.
but was it not that important for him to do that?
Well, I mean, when you just there were some calls, there were some passes that were called, and they were in certain alignments that we knew we'd check to a run. So there's at least two I know in the first half, maybe three, that the call was to throw the ball, but they lined up in a way that we felt like the run would be better. So we checked to the run, and they, sure enough, when you're running for the types of big yardage that we were getting, it's hard to sit there and say, hey, we got to start throwing it all over the yard. But I'm sure he'd like to, all quarterbacks in our system like to throw the ball more than we threw today.
Do you have any status on Quincy Malter and his situation, his injury?
Yeah, I just mentioned him a minute ago, but we don't think it's serious. We think it's a short-term thing, and not 100% sure, but we think it was more like a stinger type deal.
We've seen glimpses of what Sonny can do. What did you think about his performance today?
Say it again, I'm sorry.
We've seen glimpses of what
Right.
Sonny can do. What did you think about his performance?
Well, we've seen the Sony enough in practice, and obviously in high school, that we know he's a pretty special talent, and he, he showed some of the things he can do today. There was a lot of space for runners, and there were some times when, they made their own way by breaking tackles and making people miss and all that kind of thing. But the line did a really good job, and gave him the space to do his thing. But he's definitely a talent.
Looking at the big picture, do you feel like today is an improvement from the secondary?
I think we'll just have to sit there and watch the tape to be sure. But there were some good things that were done, no doubt. We made some plays. We got exposed a little bit here and there a couple of times early on. But, I don't care. This team hadn't been shut out, I heard somebody told me, in 99 games. So we did some good things today, and we didn't give up any big plays. And that's a big part of defensive backfield play, is just, make them earn everything. And I thought they did a good job of that.
Were you encouraged by the 2 turnovers?
Always, you love to have turnovers, and obviously the turnover, the interception, probably saved the shutout. It's nice to get a shutout, and happy for the defensive staff and the players.
Obviously, Tennessee off this week. They're next up. What do you take out of this game that you can get? How did that set up for you, and what do you feel like you can gain going into?
I don't know. Troy's defense is just different than Tennessee's defense. So I don't know how much we'll get out of that. And really, the offensive systems aren't identical either. So I don't know if it did anything other than you play a game, you try to stay fresh, you try to just try to improve on a weekly and daily basis. And I can't sit here and say that this prepared us to play Tennessee, other than sometimes it's good just to keep playing ball and having games and trying to improve as you go.
Was Justin Scott Wesley available health-wise today, or is he still being disciplined?
He's getting there. He's getting there. Anybody else? All right, thank you.